Hello. So this is going to be a reading on Hasan Piker and Ethan Klein. I doubt they'll see this or care, but I kind of do, all right? Why? Because years ago, I was watching H3 and I noticed that they had this guy on that was talking politics, and I really enjoyed listening to him educate the audience and give his insights. And so I started to follow Hasan, but he primarily on Twitch, and I don't do live streams. I can't do that. So I would catch the clips on YouTube and everything, and that was really cool, and I enjoyed that. I also think that he's a great comedian, just like Ethan. The comedic timing is there. And so in the beginning, I really enjoyed Hasan reacting to true crime. It was so amusing. So, and I've been a fan of H3 for quite a bit. Probably 2018 was the time that I really started to pay attention. 2017, 2018. But then again, who cares? Okay. So I've done a reading because these two people are at odds with each other. And that's putting it lightly, okay? And I wanted to understand what's happening with them individually in regards to the other. And then what is happening, what's the energy between them? And I did a recent past, present, and near future set. This is how I usually will compile readings regarding any type of relationship. So straight off the bat, I always look at the bottom of the deck of all my decks that I'm using. I'm using a tarot deck. I'm using 2 oracle decks. One is called Whispers of the Unsolved. I have found it to be quite revealing, even if it has nothing to do with crime. And today is no different. And then I'm using the Kipperish Oracle deck by Intuitive Kev here on YouTube. It's his own deck. So this is going to give me even more insight. So I have the past, but I'm going to start with the bottom of the deck, because that's in the foundation of the reading. So the foundation is that this is causing them first of all, this is causing them a tremendous amount of emotional pain. This is not something that either of them wanted to happen, okay? And that's the God honest truth. There was a very strong connection between them, and their values aligned with the other. Okay, they agreed on practically every political stance. I mean, they had a podcast together, and Hasan came on the H3 podcast, and they had this mutual understanding of the other. And I think that in time, this grew into a friendship where they truly did care about the other one and the other one's well-being. And that's why this is kind of emotional for the viewers too. This is turned into a choose a side kind of thing. They're split. So in the past position for Hasan, we have the tower moment occurring with confusion and illusion and red flag. This is showing me that when this happened, okay, when this October 7th, when things started to go down between Israel and Palestine, not only was that a very heartbreaking and scary experience for the people there, but it was for the world, okay? And there was a something that occurred between them where they tried to discuss a certain stance politically in regards to what was happening in Israel and Palestine, and they couldn't see eye to eye on it. And I'm not going to lie, Hasan was really confused by that. Like, legitimately confused. He couldn't understand how Ethan could not see or understand what he was saying. And it was like he was being super patient with him, and he understands, this is another thing, he understands that Ethan is an emotional guy. But Hasan has quite a bit of Capricorn in him. He's got a Capricorn moon and Capricorn rising. He is very, he shields his emotions, right? But not in a bad way. But he's practical. He's practical about things. He's realistic about things. And he tried to take the approach, like the father approach with Ethan. And so, but he was met with a lot of chaos and radical shifts coming from Ethan. And it was like our foundation as friends is crumbling as this war is taking place, where there's literal crumbling happening. And how could I not see this? I feel like Hasan feels like he stepped into a trap in a way. Like he couldn't see it coming. He didn't have necessarily the feelers out because he trusted Ethan. You know, for them to have like a discussion about it, maybe they get to that point where they're like, I don't really see, we don't see eye to eye on this, but at least they can, you know, he's like, we can agree to disagree, you know, that's not a big deal. But it was getting very heated and emotional, and it was confusing, and it was a big red flag. Like, where did our friendship go? Like, where did our camaraderie go? Ethan was, in the recent past, was, I think that Ethan felt like Hasan was undermining him, or sort of like placating, condescending. And that was where I think he started to get a little bit more, it was more of Hasan's behavior in how they corresponded and less about the subject matter. So it's like Ethan is taking coming from an emotional place about their friendship, and it's under the guise of, this is about the stance that you take and the stance that I take, and we don't agree. And now it's becoming vindictive. It's becoming like, you know, really about the ego for Ethan. I'm sorry, but it is. He's being daring and he's taking risks, but and he is optimistic about it, but he's being ruthless and tyrannical, and he's making himself look like a weak leader. And I say that because people watch him as like a ritual. They feel like Ethan is their friend. Okay. And so he's not being the best leader in this scenario. And it's because he is coming from a wounded place of feeling powerless. Okay. So in a way it can turn domineering in that regard. So Ethan isn't really approaching this from like, what better way to say it? He's an emotional guy, so his emotions are invested in this. The energy between them in the recent past is I feel like they did try to come to a place of balance and harmony and healing. At least at the very last quarter of 2024, they did try to make amends, or I kind of feel like their community wanted, their communities or the community, because essentially a lot of H3 people watch Hasan and vice versa. But their community wanted to see harmony between them. And it was hard on the audience to see the destruction of their friendship amidst the destruction of what is going on in this world, and specifically in this country. So, yeah, it was a lot. They're like, oh my God, I can't even rely on these people. Excuse me. I can't rely on these people that teach me so much about the world and teach me so many valuable things, because all I'm seeing is them making reaction videos of the other one. So this is kind of what was going on last year, at least in a more subdued and more calm and peaceful place. It wasn't as radical as it is now. Okay. But I think that their community tried to even get them to see, or get Ethan to see, certain things. I think that Hasan, this is how I see it, guys. I feel like Hasan always takes a practical approach, and he will always look at different pieces of information and break it down and try to understand if that is the truth, if that is reality, right? And I think that that Hasan can admit when he's wrong, but I don't get that feeling from Ethan. So the celebrity of both of them is being, the community and the celebrity of both of them they need to find a balance in order to keep, they need to keep the peace for the betterment of the people that watch them. They need to start thinking about their viewers a little bit more, and honestly, then there really was a desire to make amends between them, but I don't necessarily know what went wrong. I think there could have been this like fragile ego, defensive, Hasan kind of looking at Ethan like, who is this guy? Right? Like, who is this guy? This is not my friend. And then Ethan is looking at Hasan like, are you that cold-hearted that you cannot see how emotional this makes me and how emotional I feel? And then just like sort of back away, from that. And I agree with both of these men a little bit. Yeah, I do, because look, Ethan Klein's a Cancer. I have Cancer rising. We're a little soft little, underneath the shell, there's a soft little body in there, we're tender, we're emotional, we're the moon, the mother, the yin. And Hasan has the opposite, which is Capricorn, which is the father, which is the yang. It's the right side of the body. It is the doer. It is action. It's the authority figure. It's authority, and it does not surprise me that he has trained his dog Kaya the way that he has, because, man, that's just very typical of somebody with his birth chart. All that Capricorn in them. Things have to have order. Okay. And emotions are, they're disorderly. So, somebody with heavy Capricorn may not always know what to do with that. They might not always know the right thing to say. They might not always know the right thing to do, but they will try to understand. In the present, it's not looking good, kids. Not looking good. Because the present moment is Hasan. This is funny. Hasan is King of Swords, concern, and Democrat. The fact that Democrat came out made me laugh when I was shuffling. He's concerned about Ethan on an emotional level and mentally more than emotionally, but he's concerned of the mentality and the stooping and the being in his head, the mentality of him. It's concerning. You know what's really funny too is I think that Hasan is 33 and this concern card is the number 33. And of course, Democrat, we know Hasan's take. So that was pretty cool that came out. But yeah, he is, he's somebody that is reasonable. Okay. In the present moment, this is where Hasan stands. I'm a concerned friend. Okay. I'm a disciplinarian. I'm authoritative. I come with the truth. I spread the truth. Okay. And you are trying to make it out that to seem that I am not a person of integrity or a person with intellectual prowess in the world of politics. I mean, this guy studied poli-sci. I mean, he knows what he's talking about, but he's very, very serious and strict, and he's kind of like at a crossroads, because that's what comes out between them. He's at a crossroads. He doesn't really know what to do. He is concerned from afar. He's not taking anything that Ethan is doing and saying necessarily as an insult. He has a more rational approach. If he didn't have that approach, generally, fundamentally, he would not be able to have debates and do all the political stuff, because you have to separate yourself. You have to be rational. And he is seeing that there's a total like spiraling happening with Ethan, and he doesn't know how to help the situation. And at the same time, he is wanting to defend himself because things are being misconstrued. Things are being taken out of context by Ethan and his wife, Ela, on their podcast. In the present moment, Ethan is giving Hasan reached out. And yep, holy shit. Hasan reached out through text, over the computers, digitally, because we got 8 of Wands here. But Hasan is met with the cold shoulder. Ethan is not talking to him, right? There's no response. It's almost as if like he's saying to himself, does he enjoy this? And is that why he doesn't want to have a conversation and talk about it and try to become friends again and start on, a different platform or something, why wouldn't he want to talk directly to me? He's trying to come up with that reasoning. And it's because Ethan's sensitive ego is involved and his emotions are involved, and he is the boss, right? He's the boss. He has so many people that work for him and that depend on him. And I wonder if that has something to do with it. Like if money is an agenda. he's trying his hardest right now. Ethan is trying to be he's very, I don't know how to put this. There is high intuition occurring, but it's not really clear for him because he's not healthy at the moment within himself. So if he wants to read the situation and understand, he has to become rational, and he has to face himself and become just look at himself and evaluate the situation, step away from the show, as step away from that boss role, and just take a minute to be alone for a second and to really try and understand this. Both of them, Ela and Ethan, should be doing that. All right? Because they're low vibrational, but they want to be high vibrational, and they think it's Hasan's fault. And I think they're blaming him for some of the business aspects of this. And the losing subscribers, or their views are down. There's some kind of blame game going on here. And because between them is the crossroads, outer space, occupation, and the 8 of Wands. So this is fast communication and change and immediate action. Okay. Mixed with we're both internet people. Okay. We're streamers, we're podcasters. We sometimes, Ethan sometimes talks politics, not all the time. But Hasan is a political person, and their jobs, okay, are facing a great risk here. Their jobs are just not, oh man. This is how I see it. Sometimes I just need a minute to think about what is in front of me. And then I start to see it in my third eye, and I'm like, okay, Spirit, all right, give me a minute. Yeah. This is surgical, what's going on here right now. Surgical. It's impulsive. It's very impulsive. This is the present, by the way. Yeah. Ethan's occupation is not doing well. And he's going to need to make a choice. And that is what is closing in right now. It just started to happen where Ethan became aware that he's going to have to make a choice to end this or to continue this. And it's up to him. So I do feel like there could be resolution between them. They could be talking in the present moment, or at least Ethan's going to think about it a while, or he's thought about it a little bit, right? But I don't know where he is, in his head, his emotions, his intuition. I don't know where he is necessarily, but it seems a little bit chaotic. And there's this moment that he's coming to, though. And he knows he's going to have to do something that is difficult for him on a personal level. And he's kind of not wanting to do it. But he wants resolution because it's because of his occupation. So in the future, near future, we have Hasan coming out as 7 of Pentacles, the priest, and healing, recovery, and alignment. Dude. And then in the recent past, Ethan came out as the high priestess. It's just a reinforcement of slow and steady wins the race. I reap what I sow, right? You reap what you sow. You put X, Y, and Z out there. X, Y, and Z comes back at you. You know? Hasan feels like his relationship with Ethan was a long-term investment. He felt like they were going to be friends forever, okay? This is somebody who really cared about him. And he knows look, I don't know that he would admit this because Hasan is a very practical guy, but on an intuitive level, he sort of knows that what the results are going to be should Ethan continue on this path. He's hard at work. He's harvesting. He's planning. I mean, he's doing what he needs to do, but he's also trying to relay that, like, I don't think Hasan is trying to rush Ethan. I think he's trying to talk some sense into him, or it started that way. And then he's trying to not let this whole thing blow up any chance that they could be friends in the future. I think he's worried about he's worried about Ethan's health right now. He thinks he's out of alignment. He's all out of whack. Excuse me. And Ethan is coming out as again, material. It takes precedence over the friendship between him and Hasan. Ethan is coming out as, I need to think about my priorities. My priorities are my business and the money I'm making, and the accolades and things. He has to get himself straight, because this is a pretty hedonistic thing going on here. Very greedy in a way, lusting for money, right? And that's him right now, weighing up the options of what this has all come to. This is near future, by the way. So it's not really, I do feel as though, what? Okay, this is so weird. I don't know if any of you watch all the time, but if you watch them all the time, can you please tell me if, like, in the near future Ethan sends a gift or a package to Hasan? Because I would be really surprised if that's coming down the pike. I just I don't know why that came to me, but I don't know, maybe like a truce or something. It might not be a physical gift, but it is coming out as that for me. It could just be an extended hand, right? Reaching out. In the future, between them is movement forward. But it's letting go of expectations. It's having regret, and it's still Ethan being money driven and money oriented. So whatever Ethan is deciding to do in the near future, it's always going to be what's best for his livelihood and his income. That's the move he makes, and that's the reason why he makes it. So he's making money moves. But there is a timing aspect to all of this. An expectation. The other has expectations. This is crazy. I feel like maybe Ethan is going to need Hasan to reach out to him again, even though Hasan has already reached out with no answers from Ethan, no response from Ethan. He's probably going to need him to reach out to him again, and then I just don't see, I don't see Ethan being able to let go of the control and the power. I see him as somebody who's doing a political self-righteous tornadoing. I've coined that. Self-righteous tornadoing, right? Somebody that like is so firm in their stance and their belief that they cannot at all, because of something within them, they cannot admit that they were wrong about the littlest thing. The littlest thing. And so what happens is that they go into this tailspin, in this whirl, right? And they're taking everybody around them within their orbit with them. And it's very sad to see that. It's heartbreaking to see that. Regret, money, expectation, chariot. Ethan I feel like the crossroads with Ethan is that he's going to regret losing the friendship with Hasan, because that's pretty close. That's pretty close. We're getting even Hasan, I think I've just in like watching some of the things that have happened, it seems like he's trying and he's getting to a point where he's like, I don't think this, let's talk, but like, I don't think you're going to do that with me. And I don't know why you can't just have a conversation with me in private and we can talk things over. And so it's getting to a point where he's like, I don't know. Hasan is patient though. He's being very patient. He's trying not to be so explosive. He's keeping his emotions in check. But, sometimes you just gotta call a spade a spade. There's a lot of emotional pain here. It's not a happy time. So I do feel like that Ethan's getting to a point where he's going to regret his decision to continue on in this self-righteous tornadoing because he's losing money. He's going to regret it. He had all sorts of expectations. What is that? Expectations. The two of them had expectations of the other. And Hasan's was based on their history as friends. And so it was really a shock to him that Ethan came about as this guy, because he was like, this is new. I'm going to try to I'm going to try to understand you where you are. And there was a lot of expectation, I think, from Ethan to be completely understood by Hasan. But Hasan doesn't completely agree with anybody all the time, because that's how he is. He's gonna give it to both sides when they're right about something, right? So he was expecting that, but the two of them are kind of at this future, two opposing forces working towards a goal, okay? But it can turn quickly into two opposing forces, one wanting to go this way, one wanting to go this way, and neither of them giving in to the other. So that's how, my head is tingling right now. That's kind of how I see it. I really, really want them to be friends again. But I mean, this isn't about me. But I'm part of the community, and I'm part of the people that are like, I want them to be friends again. I think Hasan is a really good friend to Ethan, and gives stability sometimes to his emotions, stabilizes him, grounds him. We all need people like that in our lives. But yeah, I just I wanted to do this because I like them. And I want them to be friends. But, sometimes you have to exit for your own well-being sometimes. You can't stick around and, allow people to just completely misunderstand you and go out making all of these hate videos and commentary reactions and things. It's just, yeah. at some point you kind of have to be like, we're adults. Why are we doing this? We're adults. But yeah, I wish the best for them. And this has been my reading. Thank you guys for listening. And I'm sending you so much love now and always.